The text is always the first thing that I do. Out of the texts, I then create other works. It could be ink drawings, or it could be videos, it could be performances. I suppose there's different ways of thinking and different ways of writing. Sometimes I start from a text I already have. Associations start happening, and then you go from one to the other. And I kind of just find it activates different thoughts by standing and writing. I use a brush to do the ink drawings. So it's just kind of a slightly different way to think and to write. There's kind of a conversation going on between the scripts and the ink drawings, but also within my thoughts. And sometimes it's just kind of just what I'm thinking about, what's happening in the world, it's kind of a diary. So it's all these kind of different formats and things mixed up in these drawings. I'm very interested in the voice, in this idea of creating alternative narratives. I had been invited to do a performance for the Whitstable Biennale in 2022. Whitstable being in Kent, bordering the water and kind of looking on to Europe, I just felt quite strongly the impact of all the policies and these policed environments. I worked on the performance on the foreshore in Seasalt, close to Whitstable. And after that, I just kind of felt like that was a topic, the questions of belonging. Where do you belong? How do you create networks? How are you allowed to associate yourself? Are you from that social strata that you're allowed to associate yourself to other people, or are you being left out? We need networks to sustain and help ourselves and others to kind of live a successful and fulfilling life. So these were kind of questions I was really interested in. And then at the same time also thinking about borders and how these borders were policed, and how water, we've been talking a lot about water and how water is liquid and soft, but then at the same time, the water is quite a hard border, so it's quite violent. I was just really interested to see how that would develop with three performers on the beach or on the shore, kind of negotiating these moments of being together, coming together, or being apart. We filmed by the sea, but also in Coventry. I was also interested in kind of two different landscapes. So the second part in Coventry was in an estate called Spon End. There had been great poverty, and actually maybe this utopia from the 60s of social housing couldn't quite be realised. The film is called There Are Tides in the Body. It's a quote by Virginia Woolf from Mrs. Dalloway. I felt that it kind of talked about two things which were important in the film, or several things. So one is the tides, so that relates to the sea. But to me, the tides is also the liquids in our bodies and the emotions. Emotions come and go, and thoughts come and go, and tides come and go. So I just felt like it was the inner and outer world were kind of combined in this title. So I've been working a lot with performers, dancers and actors, and I'm really interested in the voice as a tool to express things or create narratives which might not follow a linear way of talking or thinking. And I see the body as a place where meaning can be made or meaning can be created. And so this is why I'm so interested in working with dancers and actors and kind of explore how we can create narrative through movement and through the voice and through utterance. When you enter the space, you are confronted to these two big screens where the performers are going to be on a life size, probably bigger, and also the sound. You're going to enter the room and you're going to be immersed in the sound. It'll be kind of an experience of you moving around in the space as an audience member, but also with your body, and then the relationship to the bodies on the screen, because they're so big, it's going to be very immediate. There's something about being immersed in sound, and you walk around in a space and the sound is around you, like this spatiality. It is about questions of belonging, questions of migration, and then it's also kind of the feeling that the protagonists are looking for alternative ways of being together, but also kind of trying to get out of an intolerable situation. So kind of navigating situations of restraint and trying to find a new way of being together.